Well, hello people, it's Peter here, and yes, we're back down in the old man shed. It's Sunday afternoon on the 8th of June. It's what, coming up to 20 to 3. The weather is cloudy, bright and cloudy, but the temperature's just right, 20 odd degrees. There's a bit of a breeze out there, but it's a lovely day to come down in the old man shed and talk about the latest acquisition at Torridon Road. And now, as the title of this video tells you, it's to do with the Cappagh rolling stock. You know, when I bought the Class 60 from Cappagh, the Cappagh branded 60, when I looked into to see what duties it performs, yes, it's got these wagons, what they call J&A wagons, and with all the Cappagh branding on them. There's videos on YouTube showing one pulling a rate of 20 wagons, and every single wagon is branded the Cappagh, so yeah. Anyway, so thought, alright, okay, let's look into sort of getting some rolling stock for this loco. Now there is the Hornby Railroad range version of this wagon, but it is a railroad version, and I would say it's even cheaper than that, to be honest, because really you're getting a very, very basic, which, obviously the price reflects it, let's face it, but I wasn't happy to look, when I saw what you was getting, I thought, no, I can't see myself running that. I know it would look good running around anyway, but the fact that no buffers, plastic wheels, big D couplings, but the printing, give it its due. The printing looked good, but I don't know. So I never went down that route. So what to do? Well, what was it? Back in March, here in London, we had the Alexandra Palace model show, and Cav and Alex from Cappagh were there, and so was the company Revolution. They was there showboating their rolling stock that they do, and sure enough, in the glass shelves was the J&A wagons and the one that branded Cappagh. And I thought, oh yeah, so I asked the guy, I said, are these available? So he said, no, they're all sold out everywhere. I went, oh blimey. So he said, but we're in the middle doing a second run. So I said, oh, he said, but you can only get them from Key Model World, that magazine company, so it had to be ordered from them. It's exclusive to them. So I thought, alright, okay, I know they weren't going to be cheap, and they were, by the time I bought 8 of them, by the time you do, yeah, it's not cheap, but what do you do? I mean, this is it. This was the second run, because the first one just flew off the shelves from even Key Model World, or even other sort of branded J&A wagons. They all sell out, don't they, immediately, So what do you do? So I come home that day and went onto the Key Model World website, and sure enough, they was available to order. So I got my 8. So I've had to double up on some of the numbers, because they're not all individual numbers, but to be honest, that's fine with me, really. I can't tell what's what. And where the number is, unless you actually stop the train and start looking at them individually, that you'll never know that you're actually doubling up on some numbers. The one number that's not doubled up, because I bought the unique one, was the last wagon that was fitted with an end of train lamp. So, so I've got 7 of the other wagons mixing and matching, but definitely made sure I got an end of train wagon so the lamp would be flashing. And, I thought to myself, well, that saves me the job. If they've done a good enough job, even as it turns out it's battery operated, I wouldn't have to do my work to it. So, yeah, so it came in the post. Today's Sunday, they came yesterday. They're running around now, in actual fact, whilst I'm chatting to you, but which is testament really to the Cappagh fix when they sent out the new wheels, because the Cappagh 60 is running 100%, it's perfect. It's just about to come round underneath the camera now. The engine's not making any noise whatsoever. The wheel sets are perfect. The wagons are just doing a nice clickety-clack, which are the new Revolution wagons. And I'll give you a close-up in a minute. So what the other thing, guys, 8 of them arrived. each one out of its box, absolutely perfect. Nothing has fallen off in the box or anything like that. No bits have come off. Put them on the track, even with their shock collar tension lock couplings, put them together, just sort of like finger, pushed it around the circuit, no problems whatsoever. They ran on the tracks perfectly. But of course, being me, the very first thing to do was get rid of the tension lock couplings, and now this rake is all running around with the Westhill Wagon Works Elite range of couplings. Even the Loco, being the class 60, I've even got a little Elite coupling, my little special custom made couplings that I do, so I can have my detail on the Locos at each end when I'm not pulling anything. I made one out of an Elite magnet, so that's the whole rake of wagons are fitted with Elite couplings, and even the little one that goes on the end of the Loco is an Elite coupling, so it's unique to that, because it's all Cappagh, it's unique to that rake. And it's all run perfectly. Around a third radius, and I'll show you in a second, I've got it so that the buffers, they can't get any closer between either the engine and the wagon and the wagons themselves. They are as close as close can be, which involved using two sizes of Elite couplings. One was like a medium, and the other one was a short. Alright, so it means that although the Elite couplings can fit to each other no matter what, these wagons have still got to be put on in a certain way, because you've got a short coupling that has to marry up to a medium coupling. Alright, so if you get that round the wrong way, you'll have two shorts together and you won't get a coupling, and then if you've got two mediums together, the gap is too big for my liking. So yes, so I've done, because doing that, it means I can't just take the wagons off willy-nilly and just put them back willy-nilly. They've got to be put on in a certain way. That's fine, I live with that, because all my other wagons that are fitted with Hunt couplings, they've got to be, the old Hunt couplings were A and B related because they were pole Pacific, so they had to be put on in a certain way. Yeah, although these Elite couplings aren't pole Pacific, this particular rake has still got to be put back in a certain way, so I get my close fitting wagons. But I'll give you a little look at that all in a second. That's it, guys. Alright, so this is what this video is about. I'll put some general running clips on at the end, but in the meantime I think we need to have a look at these. They're good wagons, don't get me wrong. The Curascow, I would say, has got even more detail on their wagons. These don't come with sprung buffers, these wagons, but it's not the end of the world, I don't mind that, but otherwise it's got other extra details. But I would say the Curascow, what wagons I've had from the Curascow in the past, they've got even more. They have got the sprung buffers and whatever. However, these are alright, there's nothing wrong with these whatsoever, as you'll see. Alright, so well, without further ado, let's have a little looky then now. Alright, okay. Right then, guys, so let's have a look at these this train. So first of all, bringing in obviously the class 60, which is pulling these wagons, as you know, is the Cappagh class 60. And here you can hear that she's silent, not making any noise whatsoever, so because it's had its replacement wheel sets. Now here's the first thing I've done. You can see how close the coupling is, and yet it's my little coupling, so I can unpull it. It's the one that I put on, but I've made this one out of an Elite coupling. Okay, I can still do the usual thing of taking it off. Yeah, so there she is. But I thought to myself, well, why not? So I can put this one back as per normal. It goes on, locks it down, moves it back, and you'll see it happily couple up to the wagon there, which has got an Elite coupling sticking out the front. There you go. And when you run it forwards, and you'll see the buffers are as close as they can be, ready to go round the third radius. But incidentally, if you're wondering, oh, you can only go one way. Can I only go one way? No. I can happily run this train backwards and forwards with my little couplings, okay, so it doesn't come off if it's pushing. Right, so this is this one. So that's the first one. Now before I go any further, the printing on these coaches, wagons. Let's see if I can zoom in on it, because there's so much detail, you know, the printing detail. I'm going to zoom in closely until I can until it runs out of stop, because here now, I'll get in close enough. I think we can read everything, right? I mean, how close can we get? So everything's there. Yeah. Obviously it says Cappagh. Even on the bogie there's some printing detail. There's the bogie. There's some extra bits on the bogies, as well as the brake, you know, hand wheel, whatever you call it there. But look at all the printing on this thing. You can read, right, I'll stop it. You can read it all. Obviously the J&A. BT rail, yeah. You can see all the detail. This other, you know, underside detail. Let's move it forward a little bit more. Start getting the last bits into view. Easy, not to be loose or what they call that, shunted, don't know. And then up there, what's that say? Yeah, start safe, stay safe, Cappagh, yeah. And then this thing at the end. I mean, the printing, and down there's some sort of maker's label. I don't know what that's. I mean, oh, it's ridiculous. And that thing there, well, that's just so small. Even I can't zoom in on that with this camera, and yet I bet you it bloody reads, because it's printed so well. A little number 4 next to it. I'm going in even closer. Oh no, that's it. Come out. Focus. Come on. I've stopped. Focus. There we are. I mean, what's that? Is that an engineering mark? That little oval thing? God knows. There's the. Let's zoom out. There's how close I've got them fitting together, using the elites. And it's what I said to you, so that in the middle there, when they come through, you see the coupling itself is, so it's a short one on this wagon and a slightly longer one on that wagon. But you'll see in a second there, when it goes round, well, I'll show you anyway, that when it goes round it will be touching as it goes round the third radius curve, which is fine. Let's have a look. Right, let's bring her into view. Oh, but whilst I'm doing this, I've got a little 08 shunter putting the rake of coaches around quietly on the inside track. But let's bring the loco in first of all, and you'll see that with my little coupling to the loco to the wagon, it's as close as it can be without getting any buffer lock, and yet it can pull and push. And as I said, the Class 60 is performing perfectly. There you go. You see, you can't get any closer than that. And then when the a wagon comes round ordinarily, you see the inside one is actually kissing or almost touching, but that's fine. It just means that when it's on the second radius, it just you know, it does go on the second radius. It literally is just a kiss, and so it does work on the second radius as well. You see the differences on it, where I've got them round the wrong way. You've got an air cylinder on this side on that particular one, and then on this side you've got some taps or something. So that's the difference. Now then, we come to the one with the end of train lamp. So let's just bring it around, and here we are. Oh, the loads, by the way, they're fitted with the loads at the moment, but they're not the correct loads. I've nicked the loads from the IOA wagons because they're very similar in size, and the load is falling too deep down inside the wagon. I had got a set of loads coming from Make Your Mark models specifically for the J&A wagons. These are from the IOA wagons, and they're slightly smaller, but just to give a bit of weight to the wagon, I'll just put them in for now whilst filming, and you know, it doesn't look too bad. But there is a set of loads on order being made, so we'll fit that in. Right, this one now. Let's show you the end of this. Hold on. Right, let's just bring back the end wagon again with its flashing lamp, and I've got something to tell you about this one. There she comes. So being the end wagon, I've taken off anything to do with the coupling. So not just got rid of the tension lock coupling, but then fitted the little, you know, each wagon comes with the hose, you know, and also a lock, the old screw link coupling. So it's been fitted to the very last wagon, because obviously I got rid of the any semblance of coupling whatsoever. Now guys, this is the only thing. This is my little setup. Alright, so this is one of my old little, this is one of my end of train lamps with also all the electronic gubbins. Because although I did order the wagon that comes with the battery fitted one, when I got it up and running, it wasn't bad, but I suppose I could say I'm the self-professed king of the end of train lamps. I mean, every bit of rolling stock that ends up being the end of a rake of either coaches or wagons on Torridon Road has been fitted with an working end of train lamp. Be it the sea cows have been fitted with them, the auto ballasters, which are quite awkward ones because they've got wire railings that the lamp's got to go onto, so that was quite tricky to sort of wire it up without showing the wires too badly. But nevertheless, yes, so I do like my end of train lamps. And I'm used to this pulsing end of train lamp, which I've got from my electronics that pulse. They flash twice a second. And the one that comes with, let me bring it because I've taken it off. You see, let me show you. Hold on. Right, first of all, this is how this one's done up. So it was because they got metal wheels, it was easier to take the wheels apart, put the spring pickups that you get from DCC Concepts, attach one wire through, similar at the other end. So this one, depending where the insulated set is there, so this is picking up from the track on this side. These two wheels have been linked together, and it's picking up on this side with these two wheels have been linked together. Okay, and then when it's attached to the electronic gubbins that's underneath the load, and then obviously wired up to the end of train lamp, you don't get any interruptions. So even it's got no stay alive fitted on the electronic board on this one. This is a basic one, but it's getting its pickup from a pair up there and a pair down here, so it's when it goes across points, no problem. So a little bit of black tack to make sure that the cables are all don't get in the way. You don't see it when it's on the track, even from the end there. You might be able to just about see the spring on the wheels, but basically nothing. Still got, there's a gubbin, so I've removed the coupling, as I say. It's just I could even cut that away, but I thought no, I'll leave that alone. But it's been fitted with the vac pipe and obviously the little tension lock, not tension lock, the screw link, dummy screw link coupling that comes in it. So only been fitted to this end of the wagon. That end of the wagon, no. You see, they're all like that. However, right, so that's the, oh, by the way, there's a detail underneath, okay, so that's it, that's what you get. And as I say, this wagon, this load, it fits sideways, but it's not long enough, it's not the right load for this, but it's got to set on its way. Now, let me show you why I ended up changing this. This is the little circuit board that comes attached to the false floor of the wagon that you get if you're buying the, pay no attention to the little lamp, I've just stuck that there so I don't lose it, because that's the little lamp that actually comes with it, minus the little plastic insert tube. Because you see, the way they've done it, you've got to unscrew this little board from the false floor that's in the wagon to put the batteries in. Then you screw it back, then you put the false floor back, and it faces down this way, and as you can see there's a little lever there. That's what you can flick through the bogies. There's a hole. Don't know if I can just have a look. Well, believe it or not, down there, down there, underneath the wire, is the hole that you would be accessing this PCB board. Okay, and then what you do when you flick the switch, this is what you get. Because I've got the batteries fitted. Is it flashing away? Where are we? Oh, there we are. So it's not bad, but it's a very, very, very small LED. And as you can see, it's attached to the board, and yet the board comes out with the false floor when you come to have to change the batteries. And of course what happens, it has to line up with a, I suppose you couldn't call it a fibre optic in a way that was fitted to the lamp, you know. So the back of the little lamp here that you got here, the tube, you know, went through the wagon and then protruded on the outside, and then so therefore when this PCB board goes in, it lines up, and because it is a fibre optic, you do get the light transfer from the LED coming through the lamp. It did work. I don't, you know, can't say it didn't work. It did actually work, but it had to be lined up perfectly, otherwise you didn't see much of the red light. Because if it didn't line up perfectly, yeah, you know, because it's got to come through a fibre optic channel as such, it wasn't as bright as the rest of the train lamps that I've got running around Torrington Road. So I thought to myself, well, yeah, as I say, I'm sort of self-professed king of the end of train lamps. You know what I'm like. There's a little one that comes with it. I just stuck it to the back of the board so I never lose it. It's just minus the fibre optic centre, which wasn't coloured, it was clear, and obviously it gets, just like on my trains, it gets its colour because the LED is red. But that's it, that's what they used. I wasn't exactly happy with it, so in the end, and it was battery powered at the end of the day. Now the wagon that's running around Torrington Road is my own making again, and that means it gets its power from the track, and it's perfect. Right, there we are, so I'll put her back on the track now, and as I say, there she is again, guys. Alright, so flashing away like good 'un. Zoom out, Peter. There we go. As I say, with the extra detail fitted, yeah, fine. And there, in case you were wondering, that's where the numbers are, where you would see that it's a different number. 733 would be different to the next wagon along. And as I say, these loads are, you know, they fit in there. They're a bit short, but just for the purposes of a little bit of extra weight in the wagons, which I quite liked having, that's fine. Okay, there's the little 08 going around doing its thing, again with its own coupling on it, so it's nice and close fitted. That's as close as you can get to the coach. And then the coaches themselves are virtually touching because they're corridor coaches. That's the gap in the coaches. Absolutely fine. And oh, what's happening there? Oh, it's the Cappagh 60 pushing backwards with no problem whatsoever. J&A wagons. I told you that you know, it runs either way, and silent as well, because I haven't got the sound on them. I'll put the video on in a minute with the sounds running. But there you go. So I'll stop this and do nothing more than just change the direction and send it on its way again correctly. There we go. I haven't done anything to it, but now she's pulling. And as she pulled, there we go. Haven't done anything else. It's the same little coupling that just hooks onto the hook, and yet I can push and pull with it. And as you can hear, runs silently. I would say, as you can't hear, it runs silently. Yeah, it looks good. Right, people, so I'll put the running clips on now with doing what I'm doing with it. I think on that one I did actually use the old tension lock, the old Hunt couplings, but as I said to you, I've now, incidentally, look, there we are. When I make my own little couplings, look, I've got a set here, all different sizes, okay, so I can mix and match. That thing there is when I put the two locos together, and it goes on hook to hook, and that can pull two, you know, the class 37s or the class 68s together. But you can see I've got a range of sizes, yeah. But these are the old Hunt couplings, so they're the old A and B, you know, they're the round ones, yeah. But I've now changed. I'll just keep put it on there because they're all magnetic, obviously. But I actually used an Elite one on there now, which is not what's on the video. I've used the old Hunt coupling on the video, but now it's got the Elite. Right, I will put the running clips on there, guys. Thanks for watching, and yeah, enjoy your modelling, that's it for me. Well, I'm skint now anyway after buying this lot. And I'll catch you next time. But there we are, they're running around. I suppose if I just quickly put the sand on. There you go. Can't ask for better than that. Okay guys. So another little project that I'm now happy with that I've done. The coaches that I use for the Flying Scotsman, they are Bachmann coaches. They are unbranded, so of course I've turned them into West Coast Railway coaches by just adding the decals. It's the same brown. The roof colour may not be right, someone told me. And so so they can now run behind the Flying Scotsman as she runs today, normally pulling West Coast coaches. And certainly when I went behind the Scotsman, that's what we were in, what we was travelling in. Incidentally, the transfers, they are that, and they've been applied to a satin finish, which is not ideal for transfers. And then if you were a modeller, you would like to seal those transfers onto the model by spraying maybe a matte varnish or whatever over it. Didn't want to do that, but there's still a way of making sure that your transfers are better applied than most. The water, just put a spot of PVA, a drop of PVA into the water that you're going to use to slide the decals on with, because that way then the water, it was so diluted obviously, but nevertheless you will then have a PVA behind the transfer, and so therefore when that dries, you've got PVA sticking it as well to the coach or whatever. And if there is a little bit of bleed around the outside, you can see there's some smearing or something wrong, because it's PVA, damp cotton bud to take off, to get back. So that's how these transfers on these coaches are quite substantially obscured. I still wouldn't go mad and try to scratch them off or anything, because they'll come off very easily. But yeah, so West Coast. But then I picked up this is the National Railways Museum of York coach. That normally is its support coach when it goes out. It is the same Bachmann model as what I got here. And as you can see, what happened with it when it comes with this closed doors at the end of the corridors, the concertina doors. On the concertina corridors, you get this end piece that Bachmann supply. And as you can see, it's got a dummy tail lamp on it. And there he is, it just falls off because it's just a pressing, okay? So yes, so what I did, as you'll see, is I did convert that into a flashing LED. And then I was looking at it, and I was never, I always thought to myself, I'll just put that back in there, and there you go, it just snaps back in as easy as that. Obviously I'll take that off if it's going around with the coaches. But I was never really happy with it, because obviously it's an old style lamp, and that wouldn't be flashing lamp, it's an oil lamp. So I thought to myself, oh, that's wrong. I had my coaches going around as if it was a modern day rail excursion behind the Scotsman using West Coast carriages. So yesterday I've rectified that, and I've put a modern end of train lamp on there now. So that is correct, and that's what you do find on the railway of today. All right, they, Flying Scotsman is just doing the sort of some sort of excursion or something like that. They wouldn't have that type on the back of, well, I know they wouldn't, they don't, it's that one. So I finally got round to rectifying that, and then of course this thing just comes off when it's running behind the coaches anyway, and becomes part of the rake. So that's a little thing. It was I was living with it for months and months on end, but every time I got the Scotsman out and ran it, and I looked at what I did, and I thought to myself, oh, do you know what, that doesn't look good, that lamp. Especially the fact it's flashing as well, so it was all wrong. So yeah, so now rectified, because there you are. And it's a nice one, because it's got it's only picking up on one set of wheels, because it's got a stay alive. There's the pickups, you can see, just needed on one set of wheels, because it's got a stay alive, and it goes up into the carriage, so you don't see anything when you see it like that. But nevertheless, yeah, the lamp flashes quite well. It's a stay alive, so once it starts flashing, I let it charge up, and then take it off, and there she are, still flashing. Lovely. Okay,